Hello, friends. My name is Brian. My friends call me BG, and this is BG by the Beach. You've surely seen all of the Spotify Wrapped stuff that's come out over the last couple of weeks. I thought it'd be fun to look at mine and go through it and try to figure out why it says what it says and just kind of look at the fun parts of it. I know a lot of people complain about Spotify Wrapped on social media. I don't really understand. I work in PR and marketing and advertising and strategic communications and all that. And so I kind of look at Spotify Wrapped and think, wow, whoever came up with that is a little bit of a genius. I really do look at it. I look at everybody's. I think it's fun. I like to look at mine. I like to figure out, pinpoint the times of the year when something was happening. Why was I listening to that song so much? It's a lot of fun. I thought it would be a good time to look at mine. It's been a big weekend. The first two episodes of the Eras Tour doc came out on Disney Plus, and I watched them. I watched both episodes this morning. Incredible, fantastic. Loved it. As you can probably tell by the title of this video and or the thumbnail image, which I, spoiler alert, a little look behind the curtain, have not made yet. So I don't really know what those are going to be, but you probably know where this is going and why I'm talking about the Eras Tour doc. Looking at the first image from it is my top genres. I'll try to find a way to put those on the screen somewhere right here, maybe. So yeah, you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. Top genres: pop punk, dance pop, hard rock, ska, and techno. Absolutely no surprises there. So much of what I listen to is pop punk, especially over the last couple of years as I listen to more Taylor Swift. Dance pop genre at number 2 is no surprise. Hard rock, it probably comes from my gym playlist for lifting days. Ska, Real Big Fish is my favorite band, so that tracks. Techno is a surprise. So I go on this beach trip with my college friends every year. Trip has existed for 23, 24 years now. I've gone on the last 13 or 14 of them, and almost all of my friends love EDM. And it's fine. It's not my favorite, but every once in a while, there's a song that breaks through and hits me right, and I listen to it on repeat. And this year was one of those years. We were on the beach trip, a song played, it pops up on my top 5, so we'll get to that later. I listened to that song on repeat for about 2 months this summer, so that is definitely why techno pops up on my top 5 genres there. Next up, we have my listening age, 38 years old. Thank you for that. Don't mind if I do. I'll take the extra years whenever I can get them. I'm a few years older than 38, so that's fun. Into music from the early 2000s, undoubtedly because my songs to sing playlist that I listen to on my drives to and from the beach, which if you watched my Mayhem Day video, you saw and heard some of that. It's a lot of late 90s pop punk and early 2000s emo. So no big surprise there. I'll take it. This was a new one this year, and I loved how right before it showed you your age, it said something like, please don't be offended, or something like that. I am not offended. Thank you very much. My top album this year, this one was a little bit of a surprise. Tortured Poets Department. How about that? 684 minutes listened. Boy, I listened to that album a lot this year. That didn't really track. So if I had to think about why that might be, I talked a little bit about this in my How I Became a Swiftie video. I'm a huge routines guy. And one of the routines that I developed over the last couple of years, as I've gotten more into Taylor Swift's music, when I travel someplace, I live here in Florida, my family lives in North Carolina, a lot of my friends live in North Carolina, my sister lives in Florida, my brother lives in DC, and so when I go visit anybody, obviously I'm flying a lot of places. One of the ways that I was listening to more Taylor Swift music is when I get to the airport, I get to the airport earlier than I should. Listen, I'm an anxious traveler. I'm never going to not take the flight. I'll always get on the flight. I'm not like afraid of flying. There are just things I like more than flying. but I'm never going to not do it. So one of the things that helps me get through the experience is I just get there early, I get my drink from Starbucks, I listen to music, and I pace up and down and just try to get the anxious energy out. Part of that process for the last 2 years now probably is I would pick a different Taylor Swift album and just listen to it. So what I'm sure happened is a mix of when I went to DC for Warped Tour in June, and when I went to North Carolina for the beach trip in July. There were several airport pacing periods during those trips. And so I was definitely listening to this album as part of it. What I'm surprised about is that Life of a Showgirl didn't beat it, because it obviously has only had 2 months to catch up, but I've listened to it a lot over the last 2 months. So kind of a surprise. It's a surprise that this is the Taylor Swift album that is number one. It's not a surprise that a Taylor Swift album is number one, because most of my music listening these days is not a full album experience on Spotify. I have a record player in the other room, and I like to buy vinyl records of the albums that I like the most. So if I'm going to listen to an actual full album, it's usually on my record player. That's why, unless it's my pacing through the airport, which is why the Taylor Swift albums are high up on the list. So next up on this, on my Spotify Wrapped, is my top song. I'm not entirely surprised about the top song. This is a song that is on both my gym lifting playlist and my songs to sing playlist. My favorite song by this artist. So I listen to it quite a lot. Because it's on both my lifting playlist and my songs to sing playlist, that means there's a pretty good chance I'm going to listen to it almost every day of the week. And that song is Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift. This is my favorite song of hers. I talked a little bit about how this song kind of hit me for the first time when I was in my How I Became a Swiftie video. It was while I was in Greece. We were on a boat for my birthday, and I'd been drinking white wine all afternoon. And the DJ said, "Well, it's your birthday. What do you want? What music do you want to listen to while we're out here watching this sunset?" And I was like, "Well, Taylor Swift, obviously," and because I'd been listening to I Can Do It With a Broken Heart on repeat at that point. This was June of 2024. Cruel Summer came on, and I'd heard it before and liked it, but it just hadn't hit me yet. When I heard it on the boat in Greece, and the bridge of the song came on, and I remember sitting there on the boat and just thinking, hold up, wait a second, what's this? And it's been high on the playlist ever since. Now, 187 total streams. That's a lot. I did some math. I still have my trusty TI-83 calculator from high school. So, according to Google, Cruel Summer is 2 minutes and 58 seconds. So 187 streams. So we have Cruel Summer, my number one song, and now my number one artist, Taylor Swift. Not a tremendous surprise, especially with the new album coming out in October. She was my number one artist last year as well. 2,458 total minutes, top 2% fan. Pretty ridiculous. But given the number of fans that she has, that actually probably doesn't put me very high on the ranking list. But so I did some math on this. 187 streams of Cruel Summer. Cruel Summer is about a 2 minute and 58 second song. So 187 times means that's 554 minutes, almost 555 minutes. That means 22% of the time that I was listening to Taylor Swift this year, it was Cruel Summer, which I find very funny. Top song, top artist, top album, go figure. I think I've talked about this some. I still haven't listened to every single Taylor Swift album. Obviously, the newest ones, I've definitely listened to. I have a few on vinyl. I may, now that I've got this channel, this little playground on YouTube, I may go through and listen to the rest of them. Full disclosure, I'm a little nervous to do that because I'm typically not well, I'm about to say something. I'm typically not a singer-songwriter person. However, I love Tortured Poets Department, so maybe that's an irrational worry. I'm worried I'm not going to like them as much as I like the new stuff, but it is what it is. We'll listen to them and see what happens, and maybe we'll make reaction videos out of them and just kind of see. So, top album, Tortured Poets Department. Top song, Cruel Summer. Top artist, Taylor Swift. And then here are my top fives. Total minutes listened, 14,821. I think it's a respectable number. It's not crazy. I know some people that had hundreds of thousands of minutes, like over 100,000 minutes listened. You can't be doing anything else during a day but listening to music at that point. 2,458 minutes for Taylor Swift, which means 16.6% of the time I was listening to music on Spotify, it was Taylor Swift. So here's my top five songs. Cruel Summer obviously is number one. Walking on Sunshine is a cover by Real Big Fish and Ice Nine Kills, which explains why Ice Nine Kills is on my top five. So they are on my top five largely on the strength of that single song. Crash Into Me. This is the one that I mentioned earlier that hit me on the beach trip. My friend John plays this song because here's what I tell my friends. I'm not opposed to listening to EDM. It's fine. It's just not usually my favorite. The way to get me in is to have the song sample a song I already know. Crash Into Me, Dave Matthews Band. This version is Steve Aoki and Darren Criss. I didn't know who Darren Criss was, but this song hit me and hit me right. So Steve Aoki is number 4 on my top artist lists, and Crash Into Me is number 3 on my top songs, and that is because there was like a 2-month period between July and September where I listened to that song several times a day. So that's how that happened. That's how Steve Aoki got into my top 5, because I didn't listen to basically any other techno or EDM music this year except for that song. Thank you, John. Jamie All Over, Mayday Parade. Come on. That's a song I actually kind of want to learn how to play on guitar too. That's such a memorable and fun intro riff on with I love power chords, as you can tell by Blink 182, probably my second favorite band. Number 5 on the list, and then number 5 on my top songs. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Big surprise. I still listen to that song quite a lot. That's my Spotify Wrapped this year. I really like looking at everybody else's Spotify Wrapped. So who were your top artists? What was your top song? Was there anything that surprised you about it? Tell me all the things. Hit me with your Spotify Wraps, and let's help each other discover some new music. That's kind of what I had in mind today, and maybe next week I'll start talking about some of these books I have on the shelves behind me, and talk about my favorite books that I've read this year. I'm not like a terribly fast reader. I do read every day, but I always have a physical book going. And then on weekends, once I get through my weekly podcast list, on weekends I listen to audiobooks while I'm sitting on the beach and while I'm moving around the apartment getting things done. I will have made it through, I think, 37 books by the end of this month. If I keep up at the same pace that I'm on right now, I'll go through and pick out four or 5 of my favorite books, and we'll talk about that next week. So in the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out some of the other videos I've got here. We'll see you next time.